Every Friday, we bring you our Reporter Roundtable, where we get you up to date on the news that made headlines during the week. Be sure to join our panel of reporters by subscribing and listening to the Idaho Matters podcast every Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.
This is The Connector, Idaho Daily News from Boise State Public Radio. Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 9th. I'm Troy Oppie in for George Prentice. This morning, Governor Brad Little still has more than a dozen bills on his desk following the recently ended legislative session. Budget airline Avelo is abandoning its Boise hub and others to become a deportation charter flight service for the U.S. government. Plus, it is a new era for the Gene Harris Jazz Festival. And do you have your star card, your real ID? The deadline is coming up. Those stories and more this morning on The Connector. Governor Brad Little took no action on remaining legislation awaiting his signature yesterday. The governor's office says today he will sign Senate Bill 1208 in a private ceremony with State Health and Welfare Director Alex Adams, Department Child Welfare employees, and select foster families. 1208 is a budget bill which expands the state's child welfare and foster care system staff by more than 60, adding more than $21 million in new spending. Improving the foster care system and getting more kids out of expensive congregate care settings has been a priority for Adams, who was named to the role less than a year ago but is expected to leave the state soon for an undersecretary role in the Department of Health and Human Services, though his confirmation in the U.S. Senate has not been scheduled. That bill is one of more than a dozen from the now-ended legislative session that the governor still has on his desk, including a bill that removes soda and candy from federal food benefit program eligibility and legislation allowing the anti-parasitic medicine ivermectin to be sold without a prescription. The governor has 10 days from last Friday to sign or veto the remaining legislation or let the bills become law automatically with no action. State lawmakers fully adjourned the session last week and are not waiting out any potential gubernatorial action. Boise police are urging residents across the city to lock cars and remove valuables after a spike in vehicle burglaries last month. Residents reported 51 incidents in March, according to BPD. That's nearly half the total so far this year. Many times, cars were left unlocked. 8 times last month, firearms were reported stolen. Police say no neighborhood is immune and that they have made some arrests, but investigations continue. The 1-month increase in car burglaries stands out among a mostly decreasing crime rate in the city over the last few years. But the Boise Police Department, after posting its alert on social media about the car break-ins yesterday morning, was not able to provide additional statistics by deadline for this story. The Ada County Board of Commissioners Tuesday reappointed former State Representative Gregory Furch to the Central District Health Board of Directors through June of 2030. Furch was appointed to the board 2 years ago when now Attorney General Raul Labrador left the board for his elected role. Furch is a local chiropractor who, as a state representative, shared anti-vaccine rhetoric and misinformation during the pandemic. He has since been named chair of the CDH board, a move noted yesterday by Ada County Commissioner Ryan Davidson.
Good to have Ada County in the chairman seat. It was Valley County for several years, and I think that was not to the benefit of Ada County during some difficult times.
Davidson there referencing former Valley County Commissioner and Central District Health Board member Republican Al Hasbrook, who retired last year. Commissioners in Valley, Boise, and Elmore counties will need to ratify Ada County's reappointment of Greg Furch before it takes effect. The Gene Harris Jazz Festival, long a staple of spring in Boise, is changing. Its annual student jazz contest is no more. Sophia Blenkensop has more on how the festival is evolving.
The Jazz Festival started in 1998 with big names performing in Boise. Over the last 6 years, the public performances were eliminated to focus on student education. The student jazz competition has been canceled, and now organizers are doing an annual showcase. Boise State Assistant Professor of Trumpet and Gene Harris Jazz Festival Executive Director Derek Ganong.
I saw an opportunity with Treefort Music Fest to partner up with them and to create something that was more commercial, more relevant for our students, as well as using a lot of the funding that was historically spent on bringing in dozens of guest artists.
The inaugural Gene Harris Jazz Showcase took place on March 28th during Treefort, with student groups from across the Treasure Valley performing bluegrass, rock, jazz, and more at Boise State's Hemingway Center. Ganong says that while the educational part of the Jazz Fest will not include a contest moving forward, other Gene Harris programs like jam sessions and the After School All-Stars program will continue. Sophia Blinkensop, Boise State Public Radio News.
Budget airline Avelo is abandoning its Boise hub and some others it serves to instead begin service as a charter airline for U.S. government deportation flights. The Idaho Statesman reports Avelo's last flight from Boise to Sonoma County, California, will depart April 27th. The airline is pulling out of Sonoma as well, plus some small airports in Utah and Montana to accommodate the change. Terms of the airline's deportation flight contract were not available. A Sonoma County supervisor, though, called it insane. They quote, "The Trump administration is making it more lucrative to participate in the deportation industrial complex than supporting the local tourist economy." Avelo will run the deportation flights for U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement out of the Phoenix International Airport. The deadline to get a real ID in Idaho, the Star Card, is just under a month from now. Jamie Geary has recommendations on what to do if you've put it off.
Starting on May 7th, Idahoans won't be able to use their old driver's licenses to fly on commercial airlines or access federally owned buildings. They will need a Star Card, a driver's license with a small gold star in the upper right corner. The new cards are part of the Department of Homeland Security's Real ID program, which the department says is, quote, meant to determine with greater accuracy whether individuals presenting identification are who they say they are. According to the Idaho Transportation Department, as of April 1st, only 55% of Idaho drivers have switched to Star Cards. Star Card appointments at the Idaho Department of Motor Vehicles are booked out more than 2 weeks in advance. The Idaho Transportation Department recommends making an appointment as soon as possible. After May 7th, green cards, passports, and other documents can still be used to board planes. Jamie Geary, Boise State Public Radio News.
It's going to come down to the wire for the Idaho Steelheads. Final regular season series begins tonight with the best team in the West, Kansas City, in town. Idaho is battling with Wichita, Tahoe, and Tulsa for the 3 final playoff spots. The 4 teams are within 4 points of each other in the standings. Wichita and Tahoe play each other this week. Tulsa gets the worst team in the West for its final series. Steelheads have only missed the playoffs once in team history in 2023. And that's your Idaho News update for this Wednesday. George will be back again on Monday. Our news director is Sasha Woodruff. Our general manager is Tom Michael. Our digital strategy manager is Lacey Daly. I'm Troy Appy. Make it a great day.